Fui a Paris conversar com Jodie Foster. Ainda ela não tinha sido nomeada para os Oscars e muito menos tinha recebido o Globo de Ouro. Mas Jodie Foster é indiscutivelmente um grande talento do cinema no mundo inteiro. No final, a entrevista a propósito do filme Little Man Tate, em português Mentes Que Brilham, foi uma entrevista que passou do frio à tranquilidade e ao calor de um final entre amigos.
Jodie, I know that you don't like to be very flattered. But,
Okay.
for me, it's a pleasure, and I'm delighted to be in front of you.
Oh, thank you.
Have you been a gifted girl? Have you been a gifted girl at the age of
Well-
3 when you start?
I don't know that I would say gifted. I mean, I think that I was in a prodigious career. I didn't, I was a child who worked from the time they were 3 or 4 years old, so it put me into a different sphere. I don't know that I was any more intelligent than anyone else. So.
But a Portuguese philosopher
Yes?
said some years ago that intelligent people, it's usually not very happy people. Because happy people is people who can't see more than a hand, a palm in front of their nose. Do you agree?
Oh, this sort of the ignorance is bliss philosophy, I guess. No, I don't. I think it takes a lot more work. But I don't believe that that's the necessary course of intellect is towards unhappiness, that information will necessarily bring you suffering. I do think, though, that it takes a lot of work to be able to balance those sides of yourself. And that's precisely, I think, what the movie, what Little Man Tate is about coming to terms and really making an effort to figure out how to make your life healthy and sane when intelligence can sort of throw you towards madness in some ways.
It means that there's a time for everything, to be adult and to be a kid. It's the message you want to give us during the movie.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I'm not so sure that that's quite it, but I think you're on the right track, which is that if no matter how intelligent you are, you absolutely need to be loved and to feel love.
Yes.
And no matter how analytical and how sort of vertical and hierarchical your thinking is, you need the liberty of dancing. And I think that these two things, neither of them should be over-valorized, that they should be equalized and that they should be balanced in your life, and that's pretty much the quest of somebody who's in search of authenticity, is in search for balance.
But it's true that people too much intelligent is usually lonesome people, solitary people.
Not necessarily. In this case, in the case of Fred Tate, who's a very specific person, that is true. It's true that he has been a misfit, that he's somebody who doesn't fit in. He's somebody that is on the other side. Prodigiousness, as we know it, prodigiousness mythologically, is about being a herald of a new age. The prophet is the one who takes us from this generation to the next. And of course, if he doesn't fit into this world and doesn't fit into this generation, he'll necessarily be alone. So I think solitude, much more than loneliness, and solitude is absolutely a fixture of an intelligent and prodigious life.
The fact you start your career so soon on movies was important to choose this one for directing, and to choose this kid and to cast this kid. Is this kid the son you could have?
Oh, I hope so. I hope so, and I hope so. It's also, yes, it's about, it's also the person that I wish that I could be as well, which I think is a lot about what you care about for your progeny. You want your child to be all the things you could never be. And both of these characters, Diane Wiest's character, Jane Grierson, and Dee Dee Tate, the mother, the character that I play, both see in Fred all the things they could never be. Both of these two women are incomplete in themselves, and both of these two women in some ways are tragically wounded. And this child is almost about healing wounds, the wounds of these two women who in some ways are split selves.
But why do you like so much to perform working class heroines?
I've done other things too. I mean, I've played aristocrats and all of that. I feel an affinity towards it. It's a sort of shadow side of myself. I also feel that I am very interested in common heroes. I think in people who are survivors. I find a woman who's raised 4 children alone much more heroic than a man who has entered into battle and just killed 300 people. You know, for me, heroism is about survival and about goodness, and not necessarily about conquest.
But this is the first time you assumed the role of the director in a feature film. But at the same time, you couldn't resist to be actress in the same movie. We have lots of examples, good examples like Woody Allen, Orson Welles or something. But is it difficult to direct yourself?
Yes, it is. It's quite difficult, and I enjoyed it, but it's quite difficult in retiring. If I had had a choice, I would never have acted in the movie to start out with. In hindsight, I'm happy I did, because I think it allowed me to have a certain relationship with the boy that I wouldn't have had otherwise. I mean, he knew that the person who was directing him was also the person who was protecting him. The person who was the director was also his mother, and there was a real kind of affinity that we had. Him knowing that I was an actor too, and so any funny face that he could make, I had made before. I think really helped him be a little bit more uninhibited.
I know that you are obsessed, exigent, and professional. How do you direct a guy with 8, 9 years old for the first time in his life?
I think you treat him like an adult. I think you treat him like a human being. I mean, I listened to him. I listened to his instincts. And at the same time, I didn't want him to feel that acting was like miserable, hard work. I mean, I wanted him to have fun. I wanted him to feel that this was a way for him to express himself that was amusing and that was liberating. So as much as I exacted professionalism from him, I wanted him to enjoy himself. So I think he did.
Don't you think that now movies with kids are some kind of a fashion?
Could be. It's unfortunate, because a lot of the films that I see, not all of them, but a lot of the films that I see, the children are used as props. They're used as these sort of innocent things that you sit on a chair and say, because it's the child's point of view, now everything that they see is ironic and innocent. And the truth is that children are complicated. They're people. And there are some children who are not innocent at all. And there are some children who are not ironic. It's almost as if we wish to reduce our childhood to a kind of object that we could mold and control. And I think children have a personhood to themselves.
Need to grow. Right now, your son is starving stimulation and challenge.
Now, as a director, this is an option for the future. Sometimes you want to be only behind the scenes, behind the cameras?
Well, not right away. I mean, I'd really like to act again in front of the cameras and not direct for a while, just for a couple of films, and then maybe go back behind the camera. Acting will always be a part of my life, and I'm a performer, and I was raised having that way of expressing myself, and I can't imagine ever not doing it.
But you can't imagine yourself also being directed by a director now that you have your own experiences?
Yes, I know that it'll be interesting the next time out, because now that I've been in the cutting room, I have a very different idea about who directors are, and I think that I will be less nonchalant about just doing a movie with anybody. I think that I'll be a little bit more worried, you know.
This is my opinion. This is the image I have from you. I think that you have some kind of mysterious way of performing, and sometimes quite tough also with your blue eyes. But I think that many times you make an appeal of tenderness during your movies, because only with an actress like you can make the appeal of love from a serial killer, like in Silence of the Lambs. And now you conquered, in this movie, at the end you conquered definitely your son. And this is very, very cold from you. This is an option, or this is natural. This is mysterious.
Well, I think that I play complicated characters, and that's something that I embrace and something that I enjoy. I don't believe people are all one thing or another. I think that people have layers, and to me that's what's interesting about characters, are their layers, not the this single-mindedness that I think a lot of American movies have these days, this sort of formula. Here's the good guy and then here's the bad guy. I mean, I think that there's good and bad in everybody. And I absolutely believe that we have layers that protect us. And that aspect of protecting love, that people that can truly love and people that are truly romantic and really do believe in trolls and such things are people that have to be very cynical on the outside, because it's a tough world out there.
He just wants to be a normal, happy little kid. Well, he's not normal, thank God.
If anything happens to him, I'll kill you.
In a universe of knowledge,
My mother's dead.
exists a world of
So
confusion.
as sometimes you make your refugee in Paris after some movies, why one of these days you don't take your refugee in Portugal with our sun and our culture?
I'd love to. I guess that's an invitation, so someday I'll come. Yeah.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The power of the mind.
And what's the cube root of 3,796,466?
156.
The power of the heart.
Let's face it, you're the best thing that ever happened to me.
The protective instinct.
What the hell do you think you're doing, huh?
The need to grow.
Right now, your son is starving for stimulation and challenge. He just wants to be a normal, happy little kid. Well, he's not normal, thank God.
If anything happens to him, I'll kill you.
In a universe of knowledge,
My mother's dead.
exists a world of confusion.
It's not the size of the guys like you guys. It's how he uses them.
This is the story of a little love, a little inspiration,
Brad?
and a little genius.